Hello, guys, and Happy New Year! Hope you're doing well. I'm Ollie. If you enjoy a good Reddit story, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I won't stop you. Right then, let's crack on with our first story of the day. The first story comes from MediumNet 2579 in the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit, and it says, "Am I the a-hole for banning my sister's boyfriend from my house and closing the door in his face? I, 30, male, love my baby sister, 26, female, but absolutely loathe her boyfriend. My sister is not the brightest bulb and is a self-admitted gold digger. While other little girls dreamed about falling in love with their Prince Charming, my sister only dreamed of the castles and dresses. I know this sounds pretty cruel, but she's always been open about it. She's pretty enough, takes care of her health, and puts time and effort into being the arm candy she thinks guys like. She can be sweet and fun, but when it comes to love and ambition, she just seems emotionally empty. Over time, my family gave up on trying to get her to better herself, and we've all just settled with the assumption she'll be a divorcee with okay money by her 40s. Her boyfriend is very successful financially, but also a jerk of a person in nearly every possible way. He hates single mums. He hates women who make more money than him or are taller than him. He has nasty things to say about black people, brown people, gay people, including me, and has told my sister in front of people to mind her P's and Q's or else he'll replace her. He talks about how women who fall in with multi-level marketing would be better off not existing, despite how he's lost sizable amounts of money to bad investments like crypto schemes. She doesn't mind all this too much, it seems. If I suggest she break up with him, her first concerns are usually centered around how she wants to be able to drive his fancy car, host parties in his swanky apartment. She stays there but isn't on a lease. She still has a room at home with my parents she can go back to at any time. And how he's funding the life that she wants. There doesn't seem to be any real manipulation on his end. It's more like he expects to have a woman around like a pet and really could get another girlfriend if he needed. Easy come, easy go. Over the holidays, I hosted a few family parties at my house. My partner and I had our parents, siblings, nieces and nephews, and a few friends over for a white elephant gift exchange on Christmas. My sister brought the boyfriend along. I honestly didn't even know why he came. It seems like he hates us. I had a bit of a last straw moment with him, making comments about my sexuality, turning his nose up at our family's choices of gifts, and just overall being an uppity creep to myself and my loved ones. So before the end of the night, I rounded up my sister and her awful boyfriend and told them in no uncertain terms that going forward, he will not be welcome in my house. I didn't get much of a reaction from either of them. They left together with no argument. Days later, while preparing for our New Year's Eve party, I called my sister again and reminded her that the boyfriend is not invited, unwelcome, unwanted, and outright banned from my property. She absently responded with an "uh-huh" at me. I even asked her to put me on speakerphone. She was with him, of course she was, and repeated myself so that he could hear me. All I could hear was a far-off, "whatever," but it still counted as a response as far as I'm concerned. They showed up together at my house for New Year's Eve. I cheerfully let my sister in and promptly closed the door in the boyfriend's face. It felt amazing. 10 out of 10 would do again. However, my sister got mad. She shouted and cursed at me, threw the door open to go after him, but he had already walked back to the car. There was no yelling from him, no drama. He just simply drove off, stone-faced. My sister says I'm an a-hole for doing that in front of our family. She claims she's now stranded at my house, good, that he won't answer her calls, great, and that he'll possibly dump her for letting him get disrespected, amazing. She says she didn't think I was serious about banning her boyfriend from my house, and that none of us should take what he says or does personally, because his opinions don't actually affect us. She told me through tears that she still wants the boyfriend experience of bringing someone around her family, and that was the only emotional labor she asks of this guy, and he was willing to do it. And he never did come back to get her or respond to her calls and texts. She ended up going home with my parents and has been there since. At some point soon, she'll probably get a ride to his place and likely go back to my parents' place with her stuff in a box. Our parents are kind of on her side here and are saying that I should have just quietly asked them to leave and at least not embarrass my sister. I know we all dislike the boyfriend, but I thought we were on the same page about not wanting him around us because he's just so awful. I don't think it's really a bad thing if he breaks up with her. And this is the first I've heard of her apparently deep need for the boyfriend experience at family get-togethers. I think she likes showing off her rich boyfriend just as much as he seemed to like having a pretty girl as an accessory. And she's upset that she'll need to start over now. All that being said, it's my house. It's my life. And I'm not trying to have a bigot like this guy around me. Am I the a-hole? Someone says, your sister can want what she wants. But being with someone openly homophobic when she has a gay sister is everything any of us need to know. She's not dumb. She's shallow. And she values things over people. You're not the a-hole for throwing him out, but you're definitely the a-hole for trying to portray your sister as if she's some victim of her boyfriend. She's complicit by being complacent.
Randa08 says, you're not the a-hole. You warned them.
Someone says, not the a-hole. Shame on your family, and especially your sister, for not defending you when he made comments about your sexuality. The racism and homophobia alone are enough to slam the door in his face, in my opinion. I will say that regardless of your perceptions regarding her gold digger status, it sounds like this could be a deeper issue with your sister. She may have deep-seated self-worth issues, which make her especially vulnerable to abusive partners. Some of the people who come across as being most shallow are really insecure. They believe that their value to others comes from their external traits. Perfect hair, white teeth, physical fitness, and so on are all ways that they can buy acceptance from others because they don't trust that they can be truly loved because of who they are. Your sister may or may not fall into that category. You know her better than we do, but it's worth considering if she needs more support and understanding here.
Someone comments, you're not the a-hole. Definitely not. I mean, she wants to marry rich, but she won't end up as a Basha Johnson or even a Leona Helmsley. She doesn't have the skill set. Wealthy men who are decent people tend to want decent partners. There are others who are not decent, who think that money gives them a license to behave abominably. This is the kind of guy she has already attracted. As you describe her, she doesn't have much in the way of values other than want money, want stuff. And she clearly didn't find any of her boyfriend's behavior objectionable. Do you really want to try to guess where, if anywhere, she will draw the line? Not Basha Johnson, but Carmela Soprano? Maybe look up a few relevant true crime accounts. And then, if it seems wise to you, put some distance between yourself and this, and warn your family away from it. They're going to do what they're going to do, and their own values will play into that, as you are already seeing. John DuPont, Robert Durst, Connie Rastelli, Thomas DiNapoli, and of course, Alex Murdaugh. A Reddit user says, you're not the a-hole. You warned both of them. She was welcome. He was not. Perhaps you thought he walked her to your door because he was actually being a gentleman. Who am I kidding? Everyone knows he wasn't. If it were me, I probably would have said he was told he was not welcome in my home. Leave now and shut the door on both of them, as she disrespected you by bringing him anyway. I understand you want her away from him, but the truth is, this is what she wants. She is not disillusioned about how he is. You can only support her from afar for now, but be there when she crashes and burns.
The last story comes from Thoughtful Aid 3 in the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit, and it says, I just realized how much of our money my husband was wasting. So I thought that our family lived paycheck to paycheck, but apparently we don't. Backstory. I, a 47-year-old female, have been with my husband, a 48-year-old male, for 27 years. When we first bought a house together, we were 20 and 21. Our first daughter came soon after. My husband and I have both always worked full-time, and we were used to having our own separate bank accounts that our wages were paid into. When we bought the house, we decided, as we weren't married then, to continue like that but set up a joint bill account that we each transferred 50% of the bills into, and what was left in our accounts was our own. And when we did a weekly grocery shop, we would literally pay 50% each, so 2 payments to the cashier. 6 years later, our second daughter came along. It's worth pointing out that when the girls needed toys or clothes, I just bought them with my own money. If I wanted new sheets or decorations for the house, those were things I chose to buy, so I, without question, paid for them. This continued until about 15 years ago, when we finally got married and moved to a different country. The kids were 9 and 3 at this point. It was a fresh start, so we decided to finally get a joint bank account that we both had access to. As the higher earner, my wages went into one account, which covered all our big bills: mortgage, car payments, insurances, phone bills, electricity, council rates, etc. His wages went into what we called our everyday account, which we used for shopping, petrol, food, etc. He would get paid on a Wednesday, but by the following Tuesday, 95% of that amount was gone. For years, I thought we were living paycheck to paycheck, and I really did believe that. Call me naive.
We live in a country where things are expensive, so keep that in mind when reading the prices in this post.
When I started looking into what was coming out of the account, most days he was dropping at least $50 on convenience food for his breakfast and lunch. While driving, he'd stop and buy expensive canned drinks from petrol stations and spend $35 a day on cigarettes. This is the same guy who would crack it if our groceries for the week came to more than $200. 00 for 4. Now, adult people! I was seeing nothing from my wages or any of my work bonuses. But if he saw there was still a couple of $100 left in the everyday account on Monday, he would buy a PS4 game without any concerns. This would drive me insane. He didn't see the issue, but would cause arguments. We never go away on holidays, as we never seem to have spare cash to do so, and I've always felt guilty spending money. I take packed lunches to work and drink tea or water during the day to save money. His mindset is that we are mid to low income earners with no family or government support, so life is always going to be financially challenging. So, last Christmas, after showing him a breakdown of his wasting money on our banking app, I made a suggestion. We both open individual bank accounts, not connected to any of our other accounts, which I call our fun money account. Only the account owner has access to their account, which they can use to buy whatever they want without judgment from the other. Every Wednesday, when his wages drop into the everyday account, I transfer $100 to each of us. At first, he was worried that it would leave us short each week, but I asked him just to try it out for a couple of months.
I also said that Christmas and other bonuses from my work, my boss is amazing and she usually gives me a monetary amount to buy myself something nice. This money would also get transferred into my fun account as, in the last 5 years, I have never bought myself that something nice. The same as gift vouchers his mum sends me for my birthday for an appointment with my hairdresser. In my mind, when I use the voucher, it's a nice gesture, but not really a gift per se, as hairdresser or barber appointments come out of our everyday account. So effectively, it was money left in our bank for my husband to spend. So I said when I use that voucher, I will transfer that amount from the everyday account into my fun money account. His parents put a monetary amount into his own account for his birthday, so he said this is fair and he had never thought about it like that before. Well, people, my husband was a little shocked when this worked fine and didn't impact us. It turns out we don't live paycheck to paycheck. We have just been living to my husband's means. If he saw money in the account, he just saw it as available to spend. Please note there is no financial abuse here, just a man needing to be pointed to the facts. My husband has been spending his fun money on his games, on treats, etc., from his account and not from our family account. I, on the other hand, chose to put mine into a high-interest savings account. If I wanted something special, I bought it. What shocked my husband was the confirmation of knowing his spending habits were out of control. By comparison, he found that the $100 times 52 weeks gave me $5,200, plus 3 bonuses I received from my boss this year, plus the interest. I have nearly $10,000 saved. This was all without putting a strain on our standard of living. And what does he have to show for his fun money? Which he put into a standard bank account with no interest built up. About $1,800, which still impressed him. I could literally go into a travel agent and book a holiday or put a down payment on a car if I wanted to. But to be honest, just having that knowledge of some financial security as an emergency backup is all I need. Oh, and proving a point to my husband. Someone says, "Congratulations. Money is the biggest relationship problem, and you seem to have solved it for your relationship." First Pay 702 says, "My sister only had a joint account with her ex, and he would continuously spend from it. There was financial abuse in that case. If his spending put them in trouble, she could always pick up more shifts. The beginning of the end was when he bought a motorcycle with the money intended for furniture." I took notes. My fiance and I are just starting to combine our finances, but we are keeping our original accounts. The joint account or card will be for household bills and spending, while everything else will be our individual discretionary funds.
If he wants to make a big hobby purchase with his, that's fine, as long as his share is in the joint account.